Hi friends, my name is Ruby Z. I'm a wedding photographer and entrepreneur, and welcome to my channel. I am so excited because today I'm bringing you something very special. If you are a bride and you are on the verge of making one of the biggest wedding decisions, saying yes to your dress, you are at the right place. I have brought along a really great friend, Breonna McGowen, and today she's going to share 3 incredible tips before you say yes to your dress. So stay tuned.
I'm Breonna McGowen. I have been in the bridal industry for about 7 years now. I started working at a big corporate bridal store, and then I moved over to a local boutique here in California. I was a consultant for about 1.5 years. I managed for about a year the bridal salon, and then I got married and had started my own family, and I actually started a bridal design and coordinating team with my mom. And so we are full-fledged designers and coordinators for weddings, and I also do personal styling outside of just the bridal industry.
Aw, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited for you to share. So we get to talk a lot about this stuff kind of behind the scenes. It's really interesting as a photographer versus designer, stylist and stuff. So I really want to kind of mesh the two and talk about your 3 tips, because you've been in this industry, you firsthand, you saw the process of what a bride had to do to get her dress. And I just want you to share some tips maybe for any bride that is on the verge of getting her dress and going through the process.
Yeah.
So go ahead and share your first tip.
Okay, so my first tip is be open-minded. When you go in to try on your wedding gown or to look for a wedding gown, be open-minded to styles and silhouettes. I have a quick story. I was working at the big corporate store, and we had a bride come in and say, I'm getting married in Vegas, I want something short and I want to show off everything, and she said some really inappropriate things, and also like really nervous because I'm young and new, and I just was like, okay, so I didn't even look in the bridal area. I went over to our special occasion and bridesmaids and brought her all these dresses that she said she wanted, and to play a joke, her mom went and got like the biggest ball gown that we had in the store, and I was just thinking like, this isn't gonna go well, she's not gonna be happy, and she like yelled at her mom and then laughed and put it on and came out of the dressing room crying. And she said, you know what, this is my dress. And she was in like the most princess, like Cinderella ball gown that we had in the store. And I laughed, and it made me think like, okay, just because a bride thinks like, I know what I want and I have this vision, it's your wedding day. Be open-minded. You may wear something form-fitting all the time and think, I'm gonna go in and get this really tight mermaid dress and try on a ball gown and fall in love, and that is okay. Don't feel limited to only what you're used to wearing. Don't feel limited, because it is your wedding day and you are going to stand out, and things are going to look bridal on you. So don't think like, this is what I wear, it's what I look good in, this is the only thing I can try on. Be open-minded, not only with silhouettes but also with your venue location. If you've already picked your location, don't limit yourself and think, well, this won't work with where I'm at. You are the centerpiece of that day, and everything is going to be designed around you. So don't limit yourself and be open-minded to the things that you try on. It doesn't mean that you are gonna go with the ball gown if you're not open, like, or going into that. Just because you try one on doesn't mean that's what you're gonna go with. You may already know what you want to try on. Pull more of those silhouettes, but also still try on some things that you might not have envisioned wearing, because you might actually like it more than you thought.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. And usually when they go in and say, does the consultant usually help with that? Like, say they come in and say, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Is it normal, or should they ask the consultant maybe to help them pull some pieces that they might think? Because as a consultant, did you start to kind of familiarize yourself with like silhouettes and people's body?
Yeah. So honestly, a lot of times people will be like, oh, I'm bigger on the bottom, I can't wear a mermaid, or oh, I'm bigger on the top, I can't wear a strapless or an, open shoulder dress. That's not necessarily true because of the way the designers cut the dresses. There are dresses that will flatter all body types, and some body types do look better in a certain silhouette, but that doesn't mean that you won't look good in what you think you wouldn't look good in. Normally. But as far as your consultant pulling things for you outside of what you ask for, it all kind of depends on the salon that you go to and the consultant that you have. If it's a very experienced consultant, they should pull, like what I would do is I would sit and I'd pull, majority of what the bride was asking for.
Okay.
But based off of what they liked about those, that silhouette, or if it was, I really like the lace texture, or I like a sweetheart top, I would still incorporate those details, but maybe pull it in a different silhouette just to see. And a lot of times they'd be like, oh, I like this mermaid, and they'd put it on and be like, oh, this is really uncomfortable, but I love this. And then I would go find it in a different silhouette that gave the same feeling and vibe. So it just depends if it's an experienced consultant, and if you go in and say like, no, I'm dead set on this, they probably won't, because they don't want to upset you or ruin your experience or make you feel like they're pushing something. But sometimes they might, go through all of those silhouettes with you, and when you haven't found one, they may say, can I try something? And that's when I would say, yes, let them, ask their suggestion.
Perfect. So again, guys, recapping, tip 1 is to stay open-minded, okay?
And tip number 2 is about turnaround time. A lot of times brides will think, let me go in, I'm gonna pick out my dress, I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna take it out the door with me. That's not necessarily true for most salons. You're going to have to order it. When you order it, it could take anywhere from 4 to 6 months to come in. And it could be less time depending on the designer and their stock and what they have and how in demand maybe that dress is. And if it's exclusive to that salon or not. But turnaround time typically is 4 to 6 months, and you will want to watch the time frame in which you go in. Like December-ish through April is what most salons call Bridal Christmas, and it is the busiest season for bridal gown ordering, Bridal Christmas, and it is the busiest season for bridal gown ordering and bridesmaids ordering anything to do with weddings. It's the busiest season for ordering at that time, and so time to have the dress in takes a lot longer.
Okay.
A lot of times designers are ordering things from overseas to piece together their items, and so maybe it's not that the dress getting to you is what takes that time, but maybe the turnaround time of that designer creating the dress and their inventory and what they need to put the dress together. There's Chinese New Year, which really affects a lot of the designers because they get, maybe their embroidery or their beading from overseas, and then, their shipping time is delayed, which puts the production time back, and then getting it out to you and all of that. It'll all just kind of depend on what's going on in the world and the shipping time. I know especially right now it's kind of delayed, so definitely turnaround time. No, it could be 4 to 6 months. And when you're ordering it, don't expect that, well, it took all this time and I ordered a certain size. It's not going to come in, fitting you exactly. It's based off the designer size chart. So when you are ordering, allow time for alterations at the end, at least a month to 2 months, depending on the extensity of what you are having done to the dress.
How important do you think are alterations when it comes to?
Alterations are very important. A lot of times, when I was working in there, when I was working the salons, you're trying on dresses that more than one person has tried on. And so the bust might be a little more worn, or the hip might be a little more worn. And so you put it on and you're like, wow, this 10 fits great. I'm gonna go with a 10. And you go up and they measure you and they're like, well, you're measuring between a 10 and a 12. There's no way I'm a 12. I don't wear a 12. Well, bridal gowns are so different than everyday wear. And so a lot of times brides are like, oh my gosh, they get caught up on that tag, but no one's gonna unzip your dress and look at the size you ordered on your wedding day, I promise. So no one needs to know that.
Yes.
So when you're ordering, if you're between sizes, go with the bigger size because it's not worn. It's gonna come in. You're the only one that's gonna put it on. You'll have a little time in the alteration process to kind of get everything tailored into you. It's not going to come in fitting you exactly. When they take your measurements, they're taking to order off of a size chart. So you are going to need alterations done to make it fit you and your body.
Right? Yeah. So, okay, so this is totally a little bit off topic, but kind of still on topic. I always get tripped up on the size thing. Okay, so can you kind of give us a rough estimate of like, you know, hey, if I'm between an 8 and a 10 in everyday wear, what could I expect would be like my size in a wedding gown?
It depends on the designer. Some designers have European sizes, and so you would kind of look at like your tag and your everyday wear. A lot of times it will say like US size, European size. You could look at that and get an idea. If you're between an 8 and a 10, let's say in everyday wear, it all kind of depends. Are you bigger on the bottom? Are you bigger on the top? Where is that 8 and that 10 at? And what style that you're going with. If you're going with a ball gown and you're not super busty, but you are, you know, bigger on the bottom, the ball gown size isn't going to affect you as much. You could probably go with that smaller size.
Got it.
If you're, I don't know, you asked for a size. I guess if you're between an 8 and a 10 in everyday wear, you may be about a 10 to 14 depending on the designer.
Okay guys, again a recap, tip 2 is going to be to watch out for your turnaround times, be mindful when you go in, understanding how long everything's going to take, tailoring and size and all of that mixed together. So that was a really good tip. It was hefty, but so important. Okay, so final tip.
Tip number 3. Tip number 3 would be very mindful of who you are taking with you to look for your wedding gown. Obviously, you know, you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, so mom, mother of the groom, you know, those would be people to take with you. But also knowing that you have to be confident in what you're wearing, and if you are taking somebody with you who is going to be very opinionated, not allow you to form your own opinion before they give you an opinion, and then you end up going with the dress that maybe they've said they don't like, on your wedding day, whether you like it or not, or you think it will happen, it's going to be in the back of your mind, and you're going to be looking at that person like, okay, now that my hair and makeup's done, what do you think? And you know, if you're a person who kind of looks and gravitates for the approval of others, who you take with you is very important. So I would always suggest keep it small and more intimate. Don't take 10, 20 people if you can help it. Again, you don't want to create drama or stir anything up, so if you can't, say no, you can't come with me. You know, take that person. But if you can get out and maybe just take your maid of honor, your mom and mother of the groom, or maybe just you and your mom go, that would be something that I would suggest. Or if you're like, I really want 10, 20 people to go with me, keep in mind some bridal salons will hold 20 people, but if you really want a big group to go with you, maybe go on your own. Pick out, try on all the different styles, the different shapes, silhouettes, and then narrow it down to 3 and bring everyone back just for those 3, so that they're not running out and saying, oh, they each pull one for you, because they each want to think that they know what they're talking about, and then they're offended that you didn't pick their dress. So maybe go in, take just you and your mom, and just yourself, if that's, you know, what you prefer, and then bring back just for 3 dresses, or the 2 that you can't decide on.
That's a really great tip. Oh my gosh. We obviously all have opinions. We like different styles, so just be mindful of who you take with you. I love that. You want to feel confident. In the end, that's what I want you to feel as a photographer too, capturing you. I want you to be confident in what you're wearing. Yeah. So I am so excited. Thank you so much for joining me. This is so helpful and so great, you guys. Let me know if you liked the information. Let me know if you have any questions about it. We are definitely here. Breonna is so open to always talk about it. She's passionate about this. So she loves style and loves stuff. So if you have any questions for her, just shoot them over. Thank you again. I'm just reminding you, like this channel, subscribe, or like this video. Subscribe to my channel, and I'm looking forward to providing more wedding information for you brides out there. Have a great day. Bye, guys.